You're listening to the Pillaging Podcast, companion podcast to PillagingJustForFun.com, the only Raider fan site made by Raider fans for Raider fans. Check us out on SoundCloud, iTunes, or Stitcher Radio. Also follow us on Twitter at PillageJustForFun. That's at PillageJust4Fun. Don't forget to call in every single week and leave a message for the show, 408-909-PJFF. Let's get ready to pillage another podcast. What's good, Che?
What's good, Kenny?
Yo, Kenny Stapler here, just chiming in. You're joined this week by Che. He's coming in as our co-host. He's our resident NFL draft guru. And speaking of the draft, it's actually already underway. I think we're around pick 7. The last pick we just saw was Carolina, and they picked up who'd they pick up right there? They picked up the running back McCaffrey. That's who it was, Christian McCaffrey. Definitely a beast. Another running back that we've already seen go was Leonard Fournette. That's a guy I've been a big fan of for a couple of years. I knew we wouldn't get him. I knew we'd have to trade up to get him. I knew this 2 years ago because I knew we were going to be deep in that regular season into the postseason come this year, and we were. So that puts us out of the running for guys like that. The only guy that's on the board still right now that I'd move up for is Jonathan Allen. Is there anybody – we don't know what the Raiders' pick is yet. So, Che, is there anybody on the board that's left that you know of that you would move up? I mean, consider the fact that you're going to trade something big. You're going to give up something big. Who would be your guy right now if you're going to move out of this position?
Well, I would have to agree with you on the Jonathan Allen move. If they moved up for a defensive lineman that's one of the top prospects, that would be the best way to go, I think. That's our need, right? Middle of the field, defensive lineman, linebacker. I think we can get the linebacker at 24, but if we wanted to trade and move up, it would definitely be for a defensive line, one of those studs.
Absolutely. I think, the biggest need overall is that middle of the line, because if you can get a guy in there that pushes the pocket, he necessarily doesn't have to pressure the quarterback as long as that pocket's getting pushed up. I mean, you may take a guy in the NCAA that's got 10.5 sacks from the line. That's not going to transfer to the NFL, at least not in the first year. But if you can push that pocket up, flush quarterbacks into the hands of Irvin or Mack, that makes the secondary that much better. You start getting coverage, sacks, right? You start getting pressure, interceptions. Everything just starts to feed off of each other. So I think that's the linchpin in our defense that's missing. Yes, we have holes. We have a lot of needs, and we're going to address those in the show as we go forward tonight. But I think the defensive line, that's really the biggest hole and where the most impact can happen.
Most definitely.
So let's talk a little bit about who we would take in this first round, since those of you that are listening already know who we picked, right? And you guys are waiting for your day to start to see who we pick in 2 and 3. And we're going to get there. So you already know who we picked. Sitting where we are right now in the studio, up in the crow's nest, recording, we don't know yet. So we're going to let you know who we want at this time. And then after the break, we're going to come back. We're going to react to it. We're going to talk about rounds 2 and 3. And if we have time, when we have time, we're going to sneak in some beast mode talk as well, because that needs to be addressed. We've been off the air for a while. It's time to get on it. Oh, yeah. So I'm going to defer to you right now, Che, and let me know, realistically, who would you take at the 24th position? Or are you going to surprise me and put together a package deal and trade up?
Personally, I would have to say we got to stick with it. I'm not willing to give up any more picks. I'm not willing to trade away guys, anything like that. We already are going to swap picks with Seattle, right, for beast mode. So let's leave the picks alone. Let's try to get what we need at the 24th spot. And I think the spot that we need to take is a linebacker, inside linebacker. I've looked at a lot of them. There's some guys that we like, right? Reuben Foster's looking pretty nice, but he's probably going to be gone, right?
Probably going to be gone.
Maybe already happened. But definitely Gerard Davis is somebody that's come up. It's come up on everybody's board, right? Yeah. We've had maybe a discussion about it. He has the speed to cover. He covers tight ends and running backs really well. He has that nastiness, right, that we like as Raiders. He brings the thud, right? He brings the thump. That's what we really like. So he would fit in. And from what most of the scouts say, or most of the people that are, analyzing the draft, they say that he's a real good character guy too. So that's also a positive. We're not looking for any guys to come to our team and then let things get to their head and F things up, right? So
Right, and that's the Reggie way. He seems to have like a natural filter for guys like that. I mean, a lot of good character guys on the team right now. So you're looking at linebacker, right? You're leaning that direction. Now, we just got done talking about how important the defensive lineman is. So before you reveal your actual pick, or if those are like your considerations, tell me why you would go linebacker in the first round and not defensive lineman. Where we're sitting, to be fair.
Well, personally, I think we go linebacker, especially inside linebacker, right? Because inside linebacker, I feel is kind of weak in the draft. There's some outside linebackers that look like they can become inside linebackers,
Yeah.
which is an upside.
Yeah.
But if we're drafting inside linebacker, there's only a couple guys really
Yeah.
that are interesting, and then the rest of them are just kind of like middle of the pack players.
Right.
Maybe they develop well, but they don't have all the attributes that everybody's looking for. They don't have the speed. They don't have the size. They have certain deficiencies.
Right. Right.
So that's why I would take an inside linebacker, one of those top two guys, Reuben Foster, Gerard Davis.
And just to piggyback on that, I mean, I agree with you. And I think a second reason is almost kind of the mirror opposite of that is defensive tackle quite deep in this draft. And the guys that I have valued as first round talent on the line probably going to be gone by the time it gets to us, right?
Exactly.
So it's kind of like balancing those two things out. Mm-hmm. So don't get it twisted. You might be listening going, these guys, they just said defensive line.
Right.
Am I effing hypocrites? Look, get off my back. There's a method to the madness. This is scientific, y'all.
That's it.
So I interrupted. Please continue your first round considerations and your rock solid, stone cold lead pipe lock pick for the Oakland Raiders.
No, definitely. Well, as far as first round consideration, I mean, there's a lot of guys that would be nice if they fell to us, right?
Yeah.
We were hoping that some teams would make some mistakes, aka the Niners, but they seem to have done the right thing.
They did.
They seem to have done the right thing, kind of like, Spike Lee. They did the right thing.
Right.
But
always do the right thing.
Always do the right thing. But Jonathan Allen, he's still on the board as far as we know. That would be beautiful if he fell to us. That would be a guy that I would definitely take.
Yeah.
Right? I would really take a DT of his talent, of his caliber.
If he's there, that's like the equivalent of waking up on Christmas and seeing the gift you wanted, but you knew you weren't going to get, and there it was, right? And it's happened to us before, right? We've had Derek Carr fell in our laps. Maybe wasn't quite the golden nugget that Jonathan Allen is, but still a value, and he fell to it in the second round. So
beautiful. By the way.
Take note, Chicago. You just drafted Mitch Try to do your best, but you're probably not going to go anywhere. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. I could be wrong. Trubisky. Yeah, Trubish. Mitch Trubish. That's your new name, Mitch. Good luck out there. It's cold in Chicago. It's cold.
It's really cold. Really cold.
So if Jonathan Allen's there, you're taking him. You're considering Gerard Davis. Mm-hmm. Who's your pick, Che? Who are you going to take?
I think the consensus is, and I'm going to have to agree, Gerard Davis. I went back and forth looking at other DTs, other defensive ends that might be there. But there's kind of a certainty that he's going to be around at that 24th pick.
Yeah.
And he really has, like I said, he has the tools. He has what we need. He has that nastiness, but he also has good character. Yeah. I think he would be great in the locker room. Right. There's a lot of veterans. They ain't going to take no, you know what? So him coming in, having that good character is important because we got a team already. We're already set to go. Yeah. We don't need anybody coming in disrupting that.
I agree. You're actually surprising me. My hunch, my analyst for what your pick was going to be analyzing the draft. This is so meta, guys. Just stick with me. It's a very meta conversation. I've expected you to say that kid Malik, who I also like. But when I put Gerard Davis and him side by side, I just see more deficiencies in Malik's game. I don't see the speed quite there. And Davis is this kind of really odd I won't say odd, but it's a rare combination of athleticism on defense that you don't see all the time in the NFL. You see guys on offense that can slash, from quarterback to wide receiver. Hello, Terrell Pryor. RIP, Al Davis. But guys that can kind of go both directions, running backs that can catch the ball, throw the ball, tight ends that can do multiple things. You see that a lot. But in defense, not so much. Khalil Mack comes to mind. You can get down and play the line and then play linebacker, which is a little bit more common. You do see that almost on every squad. It's just the level at which he can do it is unique. But a guy like Davis, who as a linebacker might be undersized in the NFL, but the guy can switch up and play the secondary. The guy played in the slot, he played in the secondary, and he played linebacker in college. And I think he can bulk up and move into the linebacker position. I think he could play LB on third downs in coverage situations while Mack and Irvin get after it type of situation. And I just really like his versatility, his all-around athleticism. I really think what stood out to me was when he was going into his pro day, they were telling him, hey, Gerard, they want you to run the secondary drills. And he's like, what? He's like, yeah, they want to see you run the secondary drills. He's like, all right, well, what about linebacker? That's my position. He's, oh, yeah, you're going to do all the drills. He's like, oh, okay, yeah, piece of cake then. I like that attitude because he's going to go both ways in the NFL. No homo. Cover your ears, kids. It's getting deep. So I like Gerard Davis as well in the first round. I think that's the guy that will fall to us. And we're not standing alone because I ran a survey on pillagingjustforfun.com yesterday. It's been running for the last 24 hours. And the consensus was Gerard Davis there too. I think he got 44 votes out of 60 something. I don't know. Something like that. Those numbers may not be right, but the percentages are. Do the math. Okay? Percentages. I'm all about that game. So that's first round. Right now I'm looking at my board and we're at the 10th pick. The Chiefs just took Patrick Mahomes, quarterback from Texas Tech.
Oh,
what do you think about that pick, David? Is that surprising that they took a QB?
I would think it's a little bit surprising. You would think they would want somebody that they could plug into the system to help push them over the top, right?
Yeah.
Get a little bit further in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Especially with us right on their tail, right?
Yeah.
But it makes sense as well, right? Mm-hmm. They need somebody to start getting ready to take over for Alex Smith because we all know, as well as he's done the last few years, that's not the guy they want there.
Yeah.
Everybody says it. They say, he's really good at taking care of the ball. Right. He doesn't turn the ball over, but there's nothing exciting about the guy. And so you want somebody who's exciting at that position, a.k.a. Derek Carr. That's right.
That's what's up. Yeah, I mean, Alex Smith is he's the game manager. We all know that, and he's not getting any younger. But, I mean, the guy is kind of a machine. I don't remember the last time he was really hurt badly, which is odd because he doesn't really do anything. But I guess when you're rolling out right and running out of bounds every 3 plays, you're going to stay fresh. You're going to stay real fresh.
Real fresh.
You're also going to stay in the first round, unfortunately. Well, fortunately for us as Raider fans. You can eat a bowl of them, Chiefs fans, and you know what I'm talking about. So at 9, the Bengals picked up John Ross, wide receiver out of Washington. I know a lot of Raider fans that wanted or hoped that John Ross would follow us, which, you could take up arms with that stance because we have some good wide receivers on the roster, but you can always get deeper, especially with a guy, again, like Carr that can sling the rock around. The more you spread out defense, it's just the scarier it gets. And that makes up for the deficiencies we have on defense. But I think the biggest surprise for me so far is probably the Bears taking Trubisky. I'm sorry. He's just not a number 2 overall talent. I think that's painfully obvious. Chicago, I know you need a quarterback, but so does Cleveland and so does San Francisco. And they sandwiched your pick. And as tempting as it may have been, they didn't take the quarterback. The Niners drafted another defensive end. It's the 4th in a row for them in the first round, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. There's only 2 defensive ends on the field at the same time. So while I credit them with getting Solomon Thomas, who's a beast, I don't know. Maybe that strategy's just not working out for you.
Well, I think we had this conversation, right? We got Lynch, GM, right? What does he know? He knows defense.
He does.
So he's going to take the best defensive player available.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a smart move on their part, even though I was hoping for a dumb move on their part. That's a good move. I think it's a good move. It's the right call
move for them. Good move I got a friend that's a Niners fan. I keep trying to tell him to hang in there, and then when he leaves, I laugh really loud at the wall. But I'm sure he knows that. Shout out to Cleveland. Again, you're the toilet bowl of the NFL. Always probably will be, but I got to credit you for taking Myles Garrett. I know it's probably tempting you to take a quarterback there, but I like Garrett. I think his personality fits the Browns as far as what they used to be, what their sort of lunch pail type philosophy. I think Garrett's solid defensive end, really gets after it. Big dude, 6'4", 272, coming out of Texas A&M. Just an all around solid football player. And I think he's going to be exactly who you want him to be. He's going to step in, plug and play starter day one, and he's going to be that talent that Cleveland needs. And Jacksonville picks up Leonard Fournette. So I told you already earlier, Leonard Fournette's been my dude. I'm not an LSU fan, but I watch every LSU game because of Leonard Fournette. I do. Every game that I can see, I will sit down and watch because this guy is a force to be reckoned with. 6 feet, so he's not tall, which is my favorite type of running back because you can't see him coming out of that dirt pile, but he's 240 pounds. Che, I'm 6 feet tall. I'm 175 pounds.
Congratulations on that, by the way.
Thank you. Because I used to be 240 pounds. Guess what? I didn't look like Leonard Fournette.
Not too many people do, though.
Not too many people do, but you're being too kind. I was a fat ass. So I like Leonard Fournette for Jacksonville, but I still don't like Jacksonville. And I think for whatever reason, it's not going to make a lick of a difference. Every year, Jacksonville throws down fat cash of free agency, and every year it does nothing for them.
Quarterback.
They need a quarterback, and there isn't one in this draft.
And there isn't one on their team.
So kudos to you for getting Fournette, who could probably carry the load in lieu of having a quarterback. And that's all I got to say about that. Speaking of running backs that can carry the load, beast mode.
Oh.
It happened. We thought it might happen last year. You and I sat down last year. We said, it's probably not going to happen. It happened this year. When the rumor mill started turning this year, you and I got together and we kind of felt like it was going to happen.
It felt right.
It did. And Beast Mode, you're the real MVP for showing up at Seattle headquarters days after the Eddie Lacy signing. Immediately when that salary cap ceiling gap fell to about $10 million and you knew you were due $9 million, I know exactly what you were doing. You knew exactly what you were doing. So you're the real MVP this week, Marshawn Lynch. How do you feel the Marshawn Lynch signing impacts his team immediately day one, considering that he's probably not day one ready as far as his physical shape? Let's take that into consideration, right? Let's not go best case scenario. How does he impact this team? I mean, tell me the obvious and maybe tell me something that I hadn't thought of yet, if you got that.
Well, day one was yesterday, right?
True.
So day two is the draft. So it affects us right now as we're speaking.
I like it.
We're looking at the running backs, right? Possibly taking one.
Mm-hmm.
And with Marshawn there, we don't have to rush anything.
Yeah.
We can take our time. We can pick up what we need, defensive players, middle of the field, and not go after that running back, where otherwise, if Marshawn hadn't signed yesterday, then we might go after that running back a little sooner than we need to.
Right. So it buys us a couple years.
Definitely.
Right? Because you got to think he's probably going to play about 2 seasons. I don't see him going to Vegas. I don't.
No, definitely not. I don't see that.
He'll be 33
I'm all right
in 2
with
years.
that.
Yeah,
I'm all right
okay
with that. I'm all right with that.
This is a parting gift for Oakland Raider fans, isn't it?
Definitely.
Yeah, I think so. And then the obvious, how he impacts the offense on the field. I mean, the guy can carry the load. I mean, we'll see at 31, but he's got a great complementary cast around him. You got Washington and you got Rashad. So, he's not going to have to rush the ball 30 times a game. I wouldn't be mad. right?
That would be great.
But
That'd be great.
I mean, is he a huge asset to this offense? Do you think he comes in and he plays up to his 2014 potential? I mean, as long as he plays any notch above 2015 when he got the sports hernia injury, it's 2015, I think, right?
Yep.
Right. So where do you see him coming in at? Like what from 1 to 100? Where do you see him at?
As far as carries,
Well, no, I'm
Yards?
sorry. As far as like just sort of impact, overall health,
okay.
skill, where's he at? From 1 to 100, his Madden rating would be, according to Raider Che, what would you rate him on Madden? Let's just put it like that.
I'm gonna go ahead and give him a rating about 89 to 90 on the Madden scale.
Okay.
I think more so because he affects the attitude of the team. I've been looking at the Snapchats, been looking at the Instagrams, and from what I can see, he's already a member of the team, right? Players are ecstatic to have him on the team. KO's making jokes about him having a clean helmet the whole season. You know, right. I think it's exciting because we know what he brings to the table when he really wants to bring something to the table. Yeah. And I think that's the bigger story is Seattle did him kind of dirty that Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I really think there was some left. I mean, I know he got hurt. I know that was legit. And I don't think Lynch is the kind of guy to quit. But I think the decision to retire was a lot easier looking back on that Super Bowl. I mean, just look at the look on his face on the sideline. It tells you everything you need to know about his relationship with Seattle. It ended in that Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that I'm not even a Seahawks fan, and I was mad at the Seahawks for doing my guy like that.
I was mad because I hate the Patriots. So.
And I hate the Patriots. Exactly. So, yeah, I mean, I think that Lynch comes in at 89, 90. Man, I hope so. But I'll take him at an 82 because Definitely. Just like you said, that offensive line is fired up right now. And we haven't even hit OTAs yet. The offensive linemen for the Oakland Raiders right now are just running into walls, just excited. They're going out to dinner and they're taking out trash cans and yelling out beast mode. People are like, what's this guy? Oh, Oakland Raiders. I see you. Go Raiders.
Yeah.
So it's understood is what I'm saying.
It is.
So I'm excited about beast mode as well. And I'm glad you point out how that affects our draft strategy today because I still wouldn't be shocked to see us take a running back, but we don't have to reach.
No, exactly. That's the point. I think we take a running back.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with us taking a running back. We need to have somebody to develop or come in as a second, third player. I like Rashard, right? We like Washington. We like what they did for us last season, but none of us see them as the take the whole load type of guy. Yeah. And Marshawn's going to be here for these couple of years, so we need somebody. Yeah. And maybe we get lucky late in the draft. We pick up a running back that actually has a big effect on our team.
Yeah, I mean, Lynch is the parting gift. We need to draft somebody for the future because, Murray's gone. Much respect to Murray. Was just never quite that guy, but he's a good guy. He was a good Raider.
I always liked Murray.
Yeah.
I always liked him when he first came in that season. We still had McFadden. Yeah. Remember that guy?
Ouch. Yeah.
Yeah. When we still had that guy and I saw Murray play for the first time, I thought this guy's got something. Yeah. So I wish him the best of luck in Minnesota. It's a little colder there than it is in Oakland. So
it is.
Hopefully that doesn't affect them.
Well,
they do play in a dome, right?
Yeah, they're back indoors. They were outside there for a minute. Personally, I just no hate on the Vikings. I like watching cold weather teams play outside. I mean, Green Bay and Chicago does it. Yep. You know what I'm saying? So New England does it, and look at them. I like that. So Minnesota, congrats on the stadium. You should be playing outdoors. Vikings fan may strike back at me and be like, let's see you guys play outdoors in Las Vegas. You know what? In December, Las Vegas, it's not hot.
It's gonna be great.
Yeah, it's not hot. We got our stadium's convertible, so there's that. There's a lot of people gnashing their teeth right now that don't like the move. We're not going to get into the politics of that. That's all been hashed out already on this show. We're moving forward. Always move forward. Shout out to Luke Cage. Luke Cage fans know what I'm talking about. Always move forward. Always. Anyways, that's the first segment. We're going to take a word from some of our callers, see who they want to pick in this draft. And we'll come back after the break, and we're going to talk about who the Raiders picked. Signing off right now, the Saints just picked Marshawn Lattimore. Oh, wow. Marshawn Lattimore, cornerback out of Ohio State. I like that kid. Anyways, yeah, good luck, Texans. You're up on the clock next, and we got 12 more picks. We're out here. We'll catch you guys on the other side. Peace.
Peace.
You're listening to the Pillaging Podcast, companion podcast to PillagingJustForFun.com, the only Raider fan site made by Raider fans for Raider fans, featuring fan-submitted articles and the most lively Raider Nation conversation on the internet. Follow us on Twitter at PillageJustForFun. That's at PillageJust4Fun. Also, tune in every Tuesday on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Stitcher Radio.
It's the eternal pessimist coming to rain some pessimism on your parade. No, man, you guys are killing it. Look, I'm dropping in to say, just say no to the former Seahawks. All right? Sherman is a system guy who's made elite by the presence of Earl. Marshawn Lynch is a running back who's been retired for more than a year. We don't want to spend picks on a retired running back. I just don't see how that makes sense to anyone. If he gets released and we can get him cheap, sure, give him a shot. But also, full opportunity that he might be cut in camp. As for the draft, I love my boy Obi with the first pick. However, if it doesn't come, you got to go linebacker. I don't think Reggie's spending another high pick on DT. He spent 2 second-round picks in the last 2 years. I think he's going to give those guys every opportunity to develop. He wants his guys to develop. Just look at DJ. He kept trying to give DJ every opportunity because he wants his guys to develop. Even after they didn't pick up his option, they still gave it to him over Carey. What happened as soon as DJ went down? Carey boosted the position. Anyway, I probably have more, but that's it for now. Pessimist out.
Happy draft day, Raider Nation and Pillaging Just for Fun. Fine folks, it's your boy JFB chiming in with my 2 cents on the draft. With the 24th overall pick, I look for the future Las Vegas Raiders to try to solidify their defense. My pick is the supreme Taco Charlton. We need some help along the defensive line. You see Khalil Mack's a 250-pound guy who can play like a 280-pound guy. It's amazing. But we need to get him some help along the line, give him some muscle, some beef, some big boys up front. And then with the second-round pick, I look for Reggie and Las Vegas to maybe utilize one of their late-round picks to trade up and maybe make a splash. Reggie tries to hit home runs in the second round. We got Derek Carr, which was the ultimate home run, a grand slam. Mario, we'll see. Melanick didn't work. But maybe Jabril Peppers, Joe Mixon, Dalvin Cook, I could see a splash in the second round. We got the talent to be able to, take a little swing for the fences here. So let's go Raiders.
Hey guys, this is Johnny, the most handsome and definitely most humble on the blog. I've gotten the last couple picks right, so I'm looking to get my record going this year. This year, I think, number one, everybody's going to knock it, but it doesn't matter. He's the best defensive player on the board at 24. We go Jabril Peppers. We know what to do with him. We move him around. And number two, it's going to be a little tougher picking these back ends, but I think we go Zach Cunningham in the second round. Third round is a toss-up, maybe offensive tackle. Maybe we go defensive line. My pick, I'm going to throw out Cooper Kupp. Why not? Let's get that slot solidified. Have a good day. Happy draft. Let's go Raiders.
And we're back. All right, we just got done with the NFL draft round one. You could breathe a great sigh of relief. A lot of pressure in that first round. That pick's got to start, right? Now we're going to get into the second and third round where things are going to open up. Before we get there, we got to give a reaction. In the first half of the show, Che and I had talked about how we both really wanted to see Jared Davis get picked up by the Oakland Raiders. A lot of you on the website said the same thing. He was kind of the majority favorite. He went to Detroit. And where's Matt Millen when you need him? Where's this guy to step in and take back the GM reins and draft another damn wide receiver so Gerard Davis can fall to us?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
That's all I got to say. Yeah.
Well, that didn't happen. Instead, we pick up Conley and a cornerback, which may shock some people, but if you're in the know, you know that cornerback is a position of need for the Oakland Raiders. Not only that, this is a classic Al Davis pick. It's a total Raider pick, drafted a corner in the first round. You got a draft that's loaded with talent at the cornerback position, and we got the guy that's been ranked second on most lists, third on some lists. He fell because of the recent rape allegations that came out, and we're going to talk about that. But he fell to us, and he's ours now. I think that this is actually a steal. I didn't like the pick at first. I was shocked. What was your reaction when you saw the pick come across the screen?
Same reaction, right? Kind of a gasp, a little bit of it was kind of stunning. We really wanted that inside linebacker. Reuben Foster was still around.
Yeah.
And when they said Gary and Conley, it was kind of like, what? But like you said, we do have a need there. We do have a need there. We have David Amerson, who I think has played way above his means, right? I think he's played way above what we expected from him in the first place. So definitely getting another guy there, somebody that's ranked so high on most of the draft boards, number 2 ranked cornerback on most analyst boards. I think it's a big pickup. Of course, there's just that lingering allegation, right? And our hope is that there's nothing to it, that he's telling the truth, and all that stuff goes away, and he just gets to do what he does best and play football.
And so once again, I mean, circumstances aside, you see another great talent fall right into the hands of Reggie McKenzie and Conley. So don't forget, last season we were getting torched all over the middle of the field. The nickel back position, where I think Conley will probably start out. It used to be that you had bigger wide receivers that played in the slot. That trend's kind of gone away, and you're seeing bigger guys on the outside as well. And you're seeing more speedsters in the middle to create sort of mismatch issues, because a lot of times you'll get a linebacker on him or a safety on him if the wrong personnel's on the field, and you're trying to manipulate that. So now you got a guy like Conley. It's best of both worlds. You get a day one starter, because in today's NFL, the nickel package is a starting package. These sub packages are crazy. I think 78% of the time the Patriots spent in their sub package this year is a stat I recently just saw. That's a lot. So you get the day one starter, but he's going to move into hopefully the number 3 position, or maybe the number 2, but he gets to also be groomed by vets that are already there.
Exactly.
Amerson, kind of a stretch as a vet, but definitely Sean Smith, who I thought underperformed last year, but a lot of it due to Reggie Nelson up top, right?
Yeah.
So I think that the secondary now is great, and you have the possibility of now getting some real coverage sacks.
Definitely.
Right?
Definitely.
So we still need a guy to push the middle. We still need a guy to patrol the middle. Other than, in 4-3 package, stuff like that. We need the middle linebacker there. But Conley is a huge upgrade to what we have. I didn't like Hayden. He's gone now. So we're a little bit thinner there, and that means even weaker. TJ, I like a lot better, but I like him even more as a dime package. Right?
Yeah.
As a dime back. So there it is right there. You got 1 through 3 solid corners, in my opinion, and that's going to be great, especially going up against guys like Alex Smith in our division, who isn't the lights-out quarterback, but seems to give us fits.
Yep.
And the bevy of great quarterbacks that we're going to see this season, including Tom Brady himself when we see him in Mexico. So hopefully another piece of the puzzle there, Conley, is going to neutralize some of that stuff. So let's talk a little bit about these allegations. You're seeing more of them this year, more stuff, whether it was the diluted urine samples or the rape allegations or, the Reuben Foster's blow up at the combine, I believe it was, all of these different things coming to the surface more so than usual. I know social media plays into that. All the news networks plays into that. The fact that the NFL already kind of has a bad image over this stuff due to, events in the last 3 years, Ray Rice being the most notable. I mean, it was something that we actually watched on video. It made it very real for everybody. And now here we are with Conley. So here's the thing. I do truly believe in innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't, especially athletes and celebrities. They're in the spotlight. So Conley gets these allegations. They come out on April 9th, 18 days before the draft happens, I believe. It seems a little suspect to me. No charges were filed.
Right.
If I don't know why you would not file charges but still make the allegations to the media. I understand when somebody doesn't file charges because they're afraid of what might happen, but if you're going to tell the media, why wouldn't you go down to the police station?
Yeah. Why wouldn't that be the first thing you did?
Yeah. So it seems interesting to me. I'm not saying he's innocent, just like they said in the broadcast. I'm not saying that. But he does say that, the charges are false and he's willing to comply with law enforcement. He's going to take a DNA test. I like it.
I like it too.
It's moving in the right direction. And I think the reason why we were both so perplexed, though, is we felt like no matter what, this organization was going to stay away from a guy like that because of the history we have, because of the stance we have on domestic violence. All you got to do is look at Fred Biletnikoff and his history. His daughter, Tracy Biletnikoff, died at the hands of her spouse or significant other. And the Tracy Biletnikoff Foundation was erected as a result of that. And ever since then, the franchise had really had a zero tolerance policy for players like that. We're actually also the only organization in the last 3 years to not have a player arrested. So we're keeping our nose clean in Oakland for a change. I mean, I'm not speaking for the fans. I see you out there. I see you. And we love that. But, it's a whole different culture now as far as the locker room goes. So what's your gut feeling on Conley? I mean, how do you make sense of this in those terms?
I think it makes sense. I think it makes sense because it's a need. It's a need that we had. Like I said, he's the number 2 ranked cornerback besides his teammate, Lattimore, who was taken earlier in the draft. So it makes sense to take him. The only thing that lingers is that accusation.
And how's that sitting with you?
Personally, I'm like you, right? Innocent until proven guilty. And that has nothing to go against women. And, if this is something that's true, then the right thing needs to happen and he's to pay for what was done. But we have a system to make sure that people are convicted rightfully. And hopefully if that's the case, if he's innocent, then he's innocent, and everything plays out the way we want it to as fans and as members of the Raider Nation, right?
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of people, this is kind of maybe a controversial take. These guys are going to come in, they're going to make millions, but they could be victims too. Yeah. And for that exact reason, they're set to make millions of dollars in a very short period of time. And so it's not unheard of to see people come out of the woodwork like this. And I'm not saying this didn't happen, but I'm just saying there is reason to be suspicious on the other side too.
Definitely.
So I think it should go both ways. Be cautious. And I believe Reggie McKenzie, a guy who's got a great filter for this, who believes very strongly in character. I mean, there's a lot of Christians on this team, and just kind of like charity guys, people that do a lot of community work. And so I got to believe that he's done his due diligence. I don't think Mark Davis would allow for this. You can say what you want about Mark, but I know he does have some values. They may be compartmentalized, but they are there. I mean, what he does in his personal life is different. Right. All right, maybe I'm just got in too thick with Mark Davis. Forget I said Mark Davis.
Pull back real quick.
Yeah, I'm pulling back. Porn stars on the Instagram, strip club. Never mind. Mark Davis, you're trash. But let's hold out some hope for Conley. Hope for the best, like you said, as fans, and for him as a person. If this stuff isn't real, then I hope to God it doesn't land on him, because that does happen too. We have a great justice system, but it is flawed, just like anything else. It's run by humans. So that's all you really need to know.
That's it.
So anything else jump out at you from the first round? Any other picks that were kind of standout picks? Maybe they were surprising, or maybe you thought they were great picks. What jumped off the board at you?
Well, definitely the defensive lineman that went late in the draft. That was real surprising.
Jonathan Allen.
Jonathan Allen.
Yeah.
We were sitting there crossing our fingers, hoping that he might fall a little bit further.
Yeah.
We were hoping for that. But it was real surprising that he didn't go earlier than he did.
Shocking.
Yeah, definitely. Derek Barnett also out of Tennessee, defensive end. That guy shot off the screen when you looked at his film too, and he went a little bit later than I think they had him projected to go too.
I was surprised there. I was surprised to see Reuben Foster fall as far as he did.
Another one.
I know what happened with the diluted urine sample, but now we're talking about something different. We're not talking about violence. We're talking about a possible drug charge. Worst case scenario, that guy's probably getting held out for, I don't think they're going to go 8 games on him. But so it's not really risking a whole lot there. And again, he may be true. I mean, they said they were diluted. They didn't say the tests were negative or positive.
Right.
So I'd be pretty angry too. It is a red flag.
Yeah.
I was shocked we didn't take him.
Very shocked.
So again, there's due diligence. Maybe this guy really is a hothead. So congratulations, San Francisco. You got yourself another defensive player with behavior problems. Yeah. Good luck with that. Good luck with that.
At least that's our hope, right?
That's our hope.
Let's not have this guy turn into an all-pro, and then we're just like, damn. Should take that guy.
Yeah, exactly. Cleveland doing big things in the first round. I had no idea they had so many picks, and in the first round,
I don't think they had any idea they had so many picks.
Well, apparently they did because they made good picks, right? I mean, those are all excellent picks. I can't argue with any of them.
Hey, they made some moves today.
The biggest move they didn't make was not drafting Mitch Trubisky. I was really shocked that he went at number 2 instead of Deshaun Watson. I get that Watson is probably not a system fit for every team because of the type of quarterback he is. But if he ends up being talented, he might be a guy that's worth adjusting your system around Chicago.
Yeah.
I don't know what you did, and judging by the reaction tape, neither do your fans. Do yourself a favor. Don't do this now because we want you to finish the show. But after the show, I want you to Google Chicago Bears draft party reaction. And you will see a collective, what the hell are you doing from their fan base? I mean, they were like, wow.
An immediate headache, man.
Immediate headache. There's one guy clapping. And what I say, he's the guy whose wife manages his fantasy football team. That guy was just happy to be there.
He was wearing the brand new jersey his wife had just picked up for him right before the draft party.
With the factory creases and everything. So yeah, that stood out to me. I was like, wow. And then the guy that I liked in the round, I would like to see us draft him, but I kind of just knew we wouldn't for whatever reason, was TJ Watt. I think he's actually going to turn into a great NFL player. This guy didn't have the most outstanding combine. I mean, he did show great like change of speed and change of direction at the combine, but his overall numbers and analytics just don't really pan out. But he's the type of dude, when you see him on the field, it's about the heart and the motor that he has. And a lot of these combine warriors don't translate to the field. Right. I think TJ Watt, he's got the family pedigree, kind of akin to maybe like how Derek Carr came through. Not as much of an age gap there, so maybe the mentorship was different.
Right.
They're both playing in school at the same time, maybe don't have time for each other. But, man, that's a football family.
Definitely.
And I could see TJ Watt doing some things in the NFL. And he's with Pittsburgh. That's probably our biggest out-of-division rival in the history of the NFL. But congratulations, Pittsburgh. I really think you guys got a baller. You're also a team that has a legacy of great linebackers, and you've been lacking of late, so you filled the need there. I thought that was a quality pick by Pittsburgh.
I think so, too. I think bigger than that is I think he's shown that he's a fast learner because he's a converted tight end.
That's right.
Right? So the fact that he's picked up the linebacker spot as well as he did to go in the first round, that says a lot about him. Yeah.
You can't coach instincts.
Yeah, no,
right?
definitely.
So moving into the second and third round, we can, again, breathe a sigh of relief. Things really open up here. And with as much talent as there is in this draft and as much talent that's dropped on the board, that really sort of condenses things in the second and third round, maybe makes things a little bit easier. There's a lot of quality options still left. And so in the second round, who jumps out to you? Who do you really like in the second?
Well, in the second round, because we were so invested in that middle linebacker, in that linebacker position, somebody to plug up the middle of the field. I really like Zach Cunningham. I really like Zach Cunningham. He doesn't have the intangibles per se. That he's not a rocket on the field. He don't have the speed. He's not a 4.5, 4.4 guy. He's a 4.6. But the dude's a tackling machine. He's all over the field.
Yeah.
He reads the ball really well. He just seems to find his way to wherever that ball is going, and I really like that about him. I know he had some issues with tackling as far as missed tackles go, but a lot of them had to do with that lack of speed coming from behind and just kind of reaching out and hoping to tackle somebody. Yeah.
And Jack and Ken will coach that up. I think they're
Definitely.
actually really great about teaching leverage on tackling. Our defense hasn't been stellar as far as being in the right position, but we have been tackling a lot better the last 2 years. So you're seeing a lot more textbook tackling going on in Oakland. So I like Zach Cunningham too. Again, he doesn't have the speed, but he's got the nose for the football. We don't need the pressure linebacker. We need the coverage linebacker. I think he would plug that perfectly. I see him ranked at 22nd in the second round, so 44 overall,
Right.
and we're going to be right there at 48. I think it's just a perfect matchup for us. The other guy that I like in the second round is Joe Mixon. I think just the way things are panning out, that might be a reach for him, but he's the guy that's here on my board. But again, now I'm kind of like shying away from him because we draft Conley. I don't see us drafting another guy with a dark cloud over his head.
Right.
Even though I think Mixon's situation is more doubtful, considering that the man that made the allegation just came out as recently as last week and said, I retract that statement. I don't think anything ever happened.
Right.
And I know Mixon and his girlfriend or ex-girlfriend, I don't know where they're at right now. I believe they're doing community work and they're educating people about the dangers of domestic violence. So I think it would be a safe pick. But like I said, Dalvin Cook is still on the board.
Dalvin Cook is still there.
So who knows? Maybe Mixon falls to us eventually in the third round.
Yeah.
I think we got Beast Mode. Yeah, but he's the departing gift, and Mixon's the future.
Definitely.
Or Cook. Who knows how it goes? So he's on my board there. I got a couple other guys there too. But who else do you have in the first round?
The other person that we had, we had Gary and Conley. We had discussions about Gary and Conley and also running back. We just mentioned him.
Mixon?
Right, Mixon. We were talking about who do you take the risk on, right? And that's part of the thing that you're talking about as far as, taking two guys with a dark cloud over them. So we were talking about them being a possible pickup in the second round, one or the other. We now know that Garyon is our first round pick, right? So that kind of erases that question.
Right.
But another guy that I really liked in the second round, and I know there's been a lot of like ups and downs about him, is Malik McDowell out of Michigan State.
Right.
Defensive tackle, 6'6", 295, gets good push up field. And he could play on the outside. You can move him to the defensive end position. You can leave him on the inside. Creates a lot of havoc. Takes on double teams. I really liked what I saw on film from what I did see of him. I know that there's people that said that he's hot and cold. He's hit and miss. There's some games where he looks like the greatest defensive tackle in college football.
Yeah.
And then there's some games where he's nowhere to be found. What I saw, I really liked. I think he has the talent. He definitely has the attributes to be a huge pickup for us. I think it's just all about mindset.
I do like Malik McDowell. I think that, it's a bit of a red flag, like you said, possibly taking plays off. The consistency there. Again, not anything that can't be coached up. So I think that'd be a great value position. He's ranked a little bit higher. I think he's ranked about 12th in that second round. But again, the way it's been impacted, he could definitely fall to that 24 spot. Another realistic prediction there for the second round. Another guy we had in the second, but I actually see him now as a third round guy, is Montravius Adams out of Auburn. And I'm a big Auburn fan. When I first got into college football, I didn't really know where to start. So I followed my nose to Bo Jackson. I started rooting for Auburn. And so I'm a little bit biased there. But I think maybe Adams grades out more of a third round guy, but definitely another defensive tackle. Not going to pressure the quarterback, but he's going to get to the neutral zone first. He's going to clog that. He's going to at least push the pocket. and feed quarterbacks into Mack and Irvin, which is what we want. We got the guys that are going to get the sacks. We need the guys that's going to put them in the position to get more of them.
Exactly.
Right.
Yep.
So that's where a guy like Conley comes into play, and then the possibility of Adams there or McDowell there, or even a guy like Zach Cunningham. Occasionally providing pressure or playing the outside. Zach can move inside or outside. He can play both positions. I think he did both at Vanderbilt. I've seen him listed at both. So that's pretty much the second round. That's who we like. Is there anybody else that's on your board for the second?
As far as the second goes, no. I think those are the two or the few guys that we were looking at. Right, we were looking at Zach Cunningham, Malik McDowell, and then Montrevious. We really like them at third. We really like them in the third. Yeah. And then of course the other two. The Mixon pick possibility in the second round. Mm-hmm. Who knows if that's going to be a route that we're willing to take now with Gary on being our first round pick.
So second round is typically a round where Reggie will take projects. I don't think that this draft is the draft where you do that. There's too much bona fide talent for him to do that.
Definitely.
Cam Robinson's still on the board, and he could possibly fall to us in the second. I didn't really bother mentioning him because I don't think he will. But tackle is a position that we could upgrade in this draft. But again, tackle is a position that you can upgrade in a random alley in the NFL. You just don't know who you're going to find or where.
Right.
Sometimes it just takes the big-bodied dude with enough of a mind that he can learn.
Yep. You
don't necessarily need to draft a star lineman.
We got Penn, and most people had him written off once he left Tampa Bay, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that just goes to show you.
So, yeah, and that's a guy we're going to need to replace soon. So I do think we address the line. I don't think we shoot our wad that early on a lineman, though. I think there's too much defensive talent there. And then the other guy that I had on my board possibly was Josh Jones out of North Carolina State, a safety. But, again, combining best player available with need, I don't think that Josh is a great fit there. We just drafted Cujo. We got Nelson to fill in for at least 1 or 2 more years. We could probably wait on the safety position, and there might be some more falling into the later rounds. It is a deep draft for that. So, again, maybe don't shoot our wad there. So we're going to stick with the picks that we had. Again, looking at McDowell and the possibility of Zach Cunningham as well, who we really like. Really just think he's a perfect fit, valuation, need, all that stuff. So let's move into the third round. The guy that's on my board in the third round is Carlos Watkins out of Clemson. I really enjoyed watching the Clemson defense the last 2 years. This is a defense line that gets after it. Not only do they stand guys up, but they do pressure the quarterback. He's not the biggest dude. He's 6'3", 309 pounds, so he's smaller. He's not that brick wall in the middle, but he's so fast with his hands. He can stunt, he can spin, he can twist, he can bat you down, he can box you. He's just really smart. Last year, he led the team with 13.5 tackles for loss, that's stuffs, and 10.5 sacks, and 50 total stops. He was All-American at the end of the year, and second-team All-Conference selection as a junior when he had 69 tackles. This guy's a stud. And if he's still there in the third, I think that might be, aside from Conley, I think this could be the most impactful draft pick that we make. I really, really like Watkins. When I see him on the film, he looks a lot faster than what he graded out at. He's another guy that just pops off the screen. He's always around the ball, and he's causing havoc. You add this kind of dude in with Mack on the line, and if Edwards Jr. comes back healthy, that's devastating. Especially
to me.
Yeah, especially with a secondary that can cover now. This is a guy that can make a huge difference for us. We already mentioned Montrevious Adams. Is there anybody else in the third round that you want to mention? Anybody that you see that might still be there?
Well, there's a like we said, I think there's a lot of talent in the defensive line position right now, especially with what's left on the board. I mean, it's pretty much all there.
Yeah.
Still, defensive tackle, a lot of defensive ends still, defensive ends that possibly could move inside. Couple guys that I looked at on film that looked really good on film. I liked what their push, their hustle. They had a lot of energy. Terrell Basham out of Ohio. This is a guy, he's kind of goes to a smaller school, obviously. But I really liked what I saw of him coming off the edge. Good edge rusher, a lot of pressure. Looks like a stud. Looks like a guy that's going to really develop into something. Another guy, DeMarcus Walker out of Florida State. Kind of undervalued. People ain't really mentioning him. I think he's one of those guys that might produce into something a little bit more. Again, stud. He could play inside. I saw him play a little bit of defensive tackle, a little bit on the edge, and he's just got a motor on him. Yeah.
So we've talked a lot about the draft and whatnot. You're brand new to the show. Why don't you tell us a little bit about how you became to be a Raider fan?
Birth. That's straight up. That's straight up how I explain my Raider fandom to every person that I meet. I'm a Raider fan since birth. June 13th, 1982 is the day I became a Raider. It's also the day I saw life. So that's all I've known. Silver and black. He's not lying. I've had the opportunity to hang out with your family on several occasions, and you guys are well steeped in the Raider and black. Yes, this is a L.A. Dodger, Raider, Laker family, right? Yes.
And there's a lot of those fans out there, and you guys hold it down for all three of your teams.
We do.
So shout out to you. I can agree with one out of the three, and I ain't mad at you for the other two. So just thanks for joining us this week, Che. It's a pleasure to now have you on the show.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate being here. Like I said, there's nothing else that I'm more passionate about than my Raiders. Definitely equal passions in other areas, right? But the Raiders are at the top of that list.
Yeah, certainly well educated. We look forward to having you on going forward. And if there's anything you want to add, now's the time to say it.
I just I'm looking forward to other shows, man. This is a pleasure. A pleasure to be here.
Pleasure to have you, man. So that being said, we're going to get up out of here. As always, you can catch us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Stitcher Radio. You can follow us on Twitter at @PillageJustForFun. That's at @PillageJust4Fun. And call in 408-909-PJFF. That line is always open for you. And don't forget to check out PillagingJustForFun.com, the only Raider fan site made by Raider fans for Raider fans. We out here. Peace. Go Raiders.